Good day, friends. Today we're going to talk about Baal worship. Baal worship and JW org. So, if we think of Baal worship, if you don't know what Baal worship is, Baal was a god back in the day of the Israelites, and it was a Canaanite god, and it kind of looked like a bull with the horns. And you'll see it in some of the pictures on this video. So, this was a common god back then, this Baal. So we're going to read the account in the Bible from Exodus chapter 32. And this is just when the Israelites crossed the Red Sea. They seen all the miracles getting out of Egypt, the 10 plagues. And so they seen all these miracles. Now remember, these people, these Israelites, were away. They were in captivity for 200 to 400 years in Egypt. So there was many generations, and for a lot of them, they kind of lost their faith. They kind of probably a lot of them followed Egyptian gods. Who knows? But they were still Israelites. So Moses got them out, and they right away went to Mount Sinai, which is the mountain of God, and God was to give them their next step, their commands, their instructions. So Moses goes up the mountain, and God, it's a granite mountain. This mountain to this day, if you look at the history on it, it's quite interesting. And it's located just in Egypt, and it was on their way out. So they stop there, and Moses goes up, and God carves out his instructions on granite tablets with God's own hand, how it's read in the scriptures. And then Moses comes down, and the people were all worshiping a golden calf, a Baal, a Baal calf. And so Moses broke the tablets and went back up and got new tablets. So let's read the whole account. Here it is, the golden calf. When the people saw that Moses was so long in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said, "Come, make us gods who will go up before us." Now remember, Aaron was Moses' right-hand man when they got out of Egypt. Aaron was the spokesman. Moses wasn't really a good speaker, so God appointed Aaron, and Aaron did all the talking. So he was the right hand man. And so they gathered around Aaron. They said, "Come, make us gods who will go before us." So the people want to believe in things, and even to this day, people want to believe in something. They they believe in gods. There's all kinds of different gods. And so here's how it goes. As for this fellow Moses, they said, who brought us out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him. So this is what they were telling Aaron. So Aaron answered them. He said, "Take off your gold earrings that your wives and your sons and your daughters are wearing and bring them to me." So all the people took off their earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took what they handed him, and he made it into an idol and cast it into the shape of a calf, fashioning it with a tool. He must have been good at art. So then they said, "These are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt." So they wanted a god. Folks, what we're comparing this to is how the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses are doing just this. Because we're going to show you further what they think of the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments were written by God's own hand. And all the religions, every religion, we covered this in other videos, but every religion on earth that's out there that is Christian worships the Ten Commands. And not only that, the Islam and some of the other the Jewish religions, they all worship the Ten Commands, and they feel that they're so very important. So here um, we see the people. Yeah, they went to Aaron. And that's just like the Jehovah's Witness people going to the governing body, or back in the day going to Rutherford. And then Rutherford comes up with this whole scheme of how to worship. And he claims that he's the truth. And to this very day, the governing body claims that they are the truth. They claim that they are the God that all the Jehovah's Witnesses are to follow their commands, their elders' books, all of their Watchtower articles. All of these things they have made into their golden calf. And what has happened? Well, when we look at Aaron, Aaron said, "Come, make us gods." And he asked them. He says, "Take off the gold earrings that your wives, your sons, your daughters are wearing, and bring them to me." So all the people did. They took their gold earrings off, and they brought that all to Aaron, so that they could build him a calf. So let's look at what's happening in the Jehovah's Witness religion. And here's, we're just going to go here and see what it says. And this is a tutorial for making donations electronically.
Other methods of donating might involve charitable planning. We could arrange to give assets at our death through a will, trust, life insurance policy, or retirement plan. During our life or at our death, we could also donate certificates of deposit, stocks and bonds, as well as saleable real estate.
We are living in the days when unexpected events take place, just as the Bible foretold. So we decided to make charitable plans so that our material assets can be used to advance Jehovah's work.
Exodus 35, 5 and 21 says, "Take up a contribution for Jehovah from among yourselves. Let everyone with a willing heart bring a contribution for Jehovah, gold, silver, copper." Then everyone whose heart impelled him and everyone whose spirit incited him came and brought their contribution for Jehovah.
Okay, so we're just going to stop there. And so you notice how the governing body, the ones that are leading this, and they want to build their golden calf, they're asking everyone. And they're making it so easy. Leave your estates, leave everyone, everything to us. They're even asking for air miles, gold, silver, jewelry, everything that you can give. They want it to build their golden calf. And their golden calf is their empire. Their golden calf is their way of thinking, their God. And their God is the Watchtower magazines. The Watchtower magazines is their God. That's their ideology. And the second paragraph in every Watchtower study article, and I said this in other videos, is all talking about Satan. Be careful about Satan. So they become Satan worshipers because they talk about Satan so much in the Watchtower magazines. And this is what's happening. The governing body has made the 8.5 million, all the other Jehovah's Witnesses, into Baal worshipers, into worshiping them and bringing their valuable items in. Now, we've covered in other videos how Jehovah's Witnesses measure up against other religions when it comes to following the Bible. Here's what the Bible says, James 1 and 27. We covered this before. It says, "A religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction and to keep oneself unstained from the world." So here it is, to visit orphans and widows. And the word visit means to help the orphans and the widows. And we found that other religions do that to a degree, but not to a big degree. Mostly the help given to orphan and widows on the planet is done by other charitable, non-religious organizations. But here, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they do not use any of their money at all to help orphans and widows, even within the organization. If you're an orphan or a widow in the organization, you know that there's no help for you in the Jehovah's Witness religion. So they don't follow the Bible, what Jesus told us to do, to love. But yet we go back, they want everyone to bring all their money in and bring this money in to build what? To do what? They're not helping the orphans and widows. They're not helping people. They're not helping the homeless like Jesus did. They're building movie studios. They're building Bethels. So you see, all around the world, friends, people worship the Bethels. People think that the Bethel is a golden calf. If you live in Bethel, you're the golden calf. You're one step up because you're closer to the governing body, who is the Baal gods. It's quite clear when you look at this. Now, this is how clear it is. We're going to go right here to the Jehovah's Witness org. This is their literature, their website, and we're going right to the 10 Commandments. And they say it right out flat, right out front. The 10 Commandments and you, Christians are not under the Mosaic law, quite simply. And so I wanted to take this even further. So I go to another article where it lists all the 10 commands. And it talks about the 10 commands. And then it comes to this part: must Christians keep the 10 commandments? No, period. No, right here. No, no, period. Like, who would say that? No. The kid says, Mom, should I keep the 10 commands? No. These are the Baal worshipers. They have no use for the 10 commands because they want all the worship coming through them. Remember, we covered in one of our other videos, they're the spirit medium. They're the medium to Jehovah God's spirit. At least this is what they're telling the people, that they're the medium to Jehovah God. Just those 8 men. You see, so these 8 men are asking for Baal worship. They're asking for the gold and the silver. They're not helping the orphans and the widows, and they're telling the flock, no, you don't keep the 10 commandments. You know why? Because if they had to honor their parents, command number 5, how could you honor your parents when the parents are shunned? You see, you can't. They'd have to change their religion to honor to make the 10 commandments work. So does that mean that Jehovah's Witnesses don't use the 10 commandments and they don't believe in the 10 commandments? No, they just don't use the 10 commandments. They say they're not under the law covenant. So then we go and look on God's law and blood. Well, they make a big stink about no blood, and therefore actually killing their children. But yet they go in and they use the old law covenant. They use all these old scriptures from Genesis to Deuteronomy, Leviticus, all about blood, to abstain from blood. And this is the basis of their argument, is that God's law on blood. Well, yes, God did have a law covenant with the nation of Israel, but the 10 commandments was the most important part of it. It was written by God. And Jehovah's Witnesses, no, you don't have to follow it. But yet they dig deep into some of these there's something like 600 laws in the law covenant, but they dig this one out on blood and they say, oh yeah, this is it, we can't take blood. They use these scriptures. It's just hypocritical. Let's take this a little bit further. Earthly paradise, their big thing, everything's an earthly paradise, but there's nowhere in the New Testament that it talks about an earthly paradise. All their scriptural support is from Isaiah, the Old Testament, the old scriptures, not the new scriptures. Psalms 37:29, the Old Testament. And these scriptures are so easy to dispute. They don't talk about what they're talking about. So there again, they have designed a religion based on Baal worship, based on governing body worship, Baal worship. It is so clear, folks. So I'm going to leave off here. The governing body, they are the Baal gods. And the Jehovah's Witnesses that are supporting them with their gold and valuable things, they have become Baal worshipers. It's very serious. If we look at that account as a parallel to today, God went out and God wanted to destroy them all. I strongly feel that if you're a Jehovah's Witness, run like hell. Run as hard as you can out of that religion. Get in, cancel all of your everything coming out of your account, because you're supporting Baal worship. This religion does not support orphans and widows. This religion does not help the needy. All it does is print literature, and the literature is the Baal. That's the Baal god. So I'll leave her at that, friends. And remember, Jesus gave us one command. He said, love your neighbor, keep loving your neighbor. Love God was the first command. And don't worship all these Baal gods like the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. That's the Baal gods. If you're worshiping the Pope or any of these man figures on earth, and you figure that you got to follow them and you can't go to God and you got to go through them, they have become a medium, a spirit medium for you to go to God. Be careful, friends. Very serious. In the nation of Israel, God went out and wiped a lot of them out. Well, I'll leave off with that. And until next time, friends, keep living your life with love. Bye for now.